Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wartime Wisdom. This is May 24th, and it is a beautiful day here in my garden. I want to talk about resilience today. I heard a news blip that, I don't know if it was Germany or England, one of the two. They talked to their people about getting food on hand. And they needed to be ready to not be able to leave the house for 3 days. And could they have everything they needed for those 3 days? And I know most of us go, yeah, Kate, I know. It's food, it's water, it's the medicine you need, and all those things. But he used the word resilience. He told them they needed to increase their resilience. And that just really struck a chord with me. Now, here in my garden, my strawberries have taken over a very large area. They did what strawberries do. You know, they put out runners and roots. And you started out with 25 berry plants, and now you have 150 or whatever. So, by allowing them to multiply, I have increased my resilience. I've increased what I can do to provide for me. I added 2 more blueberry bushes. You know, it's little things that you can do. What do you have room for? Resilience is key. Because people go crazy when things aren't as they normally were. We get stuck in normal, and we don't know how to handle anything that's not normal. But panic is contagious. And that's what none of us are supposed to do. We've seen the panic after a shooting. People just run, crazy run and scream, and they don't even look where they're going. They're just following everybody. But resilience can be contagious. How do we make our families more resilient? Now, I don't have anything planted in here. I have in little planters on my patio, I have greens and stuff like that. But all I can hear is my mom's garden wisdom is in my head, is that if you plant your garden before the 1st of June, you're asking to lose everything. So I haven't planted, well, and I needed a whole lot of work out here too, but I had some help yesterday and it was wonderful. So what can we do to make ourselves more resilient? First, we need to learn to cook what we have at home. Do we have to go out and get something? And if we do go out, do we know what it is we need for a house? Everyone talks about rice and beans, rice and beans, rice and beans, but can you cook beans? Beans are not easy. So if you want, bags of beans, dried beans, and in your pantry, you better get some and practice, because you need to know that you can cook them and they're edible. My strawberries aren't edible yet, but I've got a lot. What am I going to do with them? Because putting things by for later and stocking in your pantry makes you far more resilient. My mom and dad had a very large pantry, very large freezer. We raised a lot of our own beef, our own chickens, our own eggs. We had our own goats that we milked. Yeah, we did all of that. I'm not quite there. I don't want to have any animals out in my pasture. I did that for 22 years. My pastures are empty. And really, I'm okay with that. My grandson thinks I should get a pig, but he doesn't want to come take care of it, and I don't want to take care of it. So I'm not getting a pig. Because it's not as easy as that. When we bring animals onto our property, now we have to care for them, regardless of the weather and regardless of what the cost is to take care of them. And that is part of being resilient. We must first count the cost. We are looking at moving my whole garden, but again, we have to count the cost. Time and effort and material to move it. Because where it is, I don't have deer come in, but where I want to move it, it's like a deer highway. So I can't put my garden there unless I protect it from the deer. And resilience comes when we know our situation. We can look around and go, all right, we don't want to get caught up in the panic. We remember that during lockdowns, You couldn't find toilet paper anywhere, and people were just putting every package of toilet paper they could find in their car. And you think, how many are in your house that you need 18 things of toilet paper? Because if you need that much toilet paper, you got a problem. And we don't want to hoard. We don't want to panic. Because if we go panic buying, we're going to buy stuff that we probably don't need. Again, and I say this, I think every single time, you need to know what's in your pantry. Do you know how much you spend on electricity? Can you cut it down? We all are in sticker shock from our grocery bills. I was at the grocery store today and I was like, oh my gosh. I struck up a great conversation with the woman ahead of me. She had all kinds of greens. Like, what on earth are you going to do with those? And she looked at me surprised, I think, that I knew those were collard greens and those were mustard greens, She was, I think, a little surprised. But my husband can make wicked greens. But there's no reason to buy them if you're not going to eat them. Are you a big baker? Then you need to put stuff on your shelf so you can bake. And you need to practice to get good at it now, while you can potentially replace your practice stuff. And how do you help others become resilient? I was at my mother-in-law's the other day, and she had her one tomato plant on her little patio. And I was like, oh, you already got that. I thought I was going to go with you. And she said, oh, I've got more, which is unusual. We usually just buy one. But she bought smaller ones, and they were in a 3-pack because the big tomato plant was a lot more money. But now she had 2 other tomato plants, and what is she going to do with those? Yes, she gave them to me. She just knows I need them, which I don't, because I have 9, I think I'm putting in here already, which is plenty for us. So I am putting them in pots, and I'm taking them to friends who live in senior housing, and they're each going to get a pot on their patio with a tomato on it. Does it solve world hunger? No, but it's a nice addition to something that you can have. And that's part about being resilient. What can you do to make things a little easier? What can you do? I got potatoes that are going to go in a container. We don't need a ton of potatoes, but I love potatoes. It wouldn't hurt me at all if I said, oh, we have to have potatoes for a few days. I'd be like, yes. But again, I know how to cook them. I know how to make my little gluten-free bread that my husband and I eat. Because I don't do a lot of flour. So in reality, I am not making a big loaf of gluten-free bread. But I do make small, they're called mug biscuits for us, and we enjoy those. And those wind up costing us very, very little, which is a bonus. And I'm resilient because everything that goes in them can stay on my counter, can stay in my pantry, shelf stable. So what do you need to add to your life to become more resilient? Number one, I think, is hope and calm. Calm is key, because panic is contagious, and none of us want to be in a panic situation. If you can plant a few strawberries, that'd be great. Just keep them confined, or else they have taken over. I don't know if they have taken over everything. Yep, I've got a lot. They'll make great strawberry jam because I am just about out. So it'll be good. Be resilient. You're stronger than you realize. We are just very used to being able to go to the store and getting anything we want. And I remember being a kid hearing my grandmas talking about the Great Depression and how, they all got through it. And I thought, oh, it's just ridiculous. I didn't want to hear it as a kid. Now I so wish I could sit across from the table and just take notes, But we've lost that generation. And we don't have the same mentality, mindset, decency, morality that seemed to be prevalent back then. Take stock of what you got. You got to have water. Water's number one. You've got to have water. You got to have access to water. You have to have water. They say, a gallon a person a day. Water store is pretty easy. You can get, I don't know, a case of 40 bottles at Costco for like $3, I think. And they just store underneath the bed or along a wall in the basement. But do something. Because the more you increase your resilience, the longer you can stay out of the panic. That if stuff comes, you don't have to be out there in it. The Bible tells us there'll be wars and rumors of wars, and everywhere you look, there's rumors of more wars. This country's doing that, that one's doing this, these people are protesting that. It's just so like it's in our face all the time. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I got in my car today and my gas light was on. I'm like, ooh, I can't have this. I need to get gas so I don't get that low on gas. I don't know where I would go, but if I can't get gas for stuff, I need to make sure that my car has gas. Just like I need to make sure my strawberries have water. Everything else. Wow, my chickens are kind of loud. Resilience. I have a hen sitting on a nest. She's not one that typically has gone broody before, but she's wicked. Again, that's resilience. If they can hatch out and raise their own, that's awesome. I don't have to. But I had to add another rooster to my group of hens because my one rooster You can't. I've got like 25 hens, I think. I don't know who counts. But one rooster with that many, he's not going to cover them all. So then they're going to sit on eggs that are not fertile, and that's just a waste of time. And it's a waste of eggs. So my friend had one. He's big, he's beautiful. He's a big black Jersey Giant. And he was getting beat up by a little Banty, which, you know, we call them chicken nuggets. They're tiny. So I'm hoping that the hen that's sitting, the eggs look good. Resilience. I'm adding to my stock without having to really do much of anything. So what can you do? What can you do on your balcony? What can you do in your backyard? What can you do with your stuff in your pantry? And if there's stuff in your pantry that's just taking up room and you're not going to eat it, you need to get rid of it. And if it's not past date, you need to donate it to a food pantry, or you need to eat it. So there's room for the stuff that you will eat for you to put in your pantry. Grow in your resilience. Be unwavering. Stand firm.